BungeeTech, like we like to talk about this idea of flexible pricing versus dynamic pricing. That, dynamic pricing, we all have, Scott, you already mentioned that the blowback on it. We've all heard about Wendy's big, faux pas in this area. But the idea that being flexible in your pricing strategy and having the ability to use data and analytics to inform your decision making at a more strategic level, right? The idea that you don't just need to, I'm going to change these 100 products and I'll change them and I'll drop price, but like to implement guardrails, to understand how price is affecting. If I change my price, how can I actually protect my bottom line by changing the number of write-offs I have to do? So like it becomes like you said, a big math problem that you can manage, but it really is about allowing, flexible pricing without data is just guessing, I guess, is a way to put it. And it's really hard to sell internally. Right? We should do this because we think this is going to be the result. But once you have data backing up and saying, here's what's happening in the market, these are our competitive products, here's the price band, here's the elasticity, like you can see all of these things, and then you can make informed decisions, which give you that flexibility to do so. And one of the ways that I've seen this happen recently at grocers is with the question about who makes the decision. And right, like, is it a category manager? Is it a store manager? Who's making this decision? Is it a pricing team? And ultimately, data unifies that sort of view of the pricing arena to make that decision making hopefully more, aligned with, regardless of who's making that decision.
And I think it also helps make it more of a consistent price strategy throughout the store. I mean, just for example, if you give each of your department managers full autonomy to operate a pricing strategy for their store and you give them some rough guardrails, every single one could probably achieve whatever objective you set forth. But your frozen manager may be, all right, well, on my KPIs, I'm going to be 10% lower than everybody else in the marketplace, and then I'm going to be super high on everything else in the background. Your meat manager may choose to be matching competition on KPIs and then be priced a little bit better on the background items. You start to get some of those real ebbs and flows with different philosophies, even though everybody's kind of getting to the same budgeted finish line. If you're a shopper and you have those extremes throughout the store, again, being extreme for example here, you start to wonder what's going on within the four walls. And I think that's where data at least helps you define a strategy, execute a strategy, and at least provide something that you can articulate and pass on to not just yourself, but we're all not the smartest person in the room. And at some point in time, you'll have to have someone else step in, tag in, and help out throughout this process, but at least helps maintain that consistency of pricing throughout the store so it becomes the same experience in all departments. And again, same experience doesn't necessarily mean identical strategy, but it means the overall experience is the same no matter which department you're shopping.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the understanding the metrics and unifying those, right? You cannot have flexible pricing or dynamic pricing, whatever you want to call it, without the idea, right, of what are the metrics that we're using to measure whether our pricing decisions are, effective. And an example I can give was a grocer I talked to where obviously the pricing team and the category team was being managed by revenue and profit. And the store managers will be managed by foot traffic and basket size. Well, this created a conflict, right? Because if I'm a store manager and I'm setting prices, I'm doing it to drive foot traffic in my stores, where everyone else is like, no, we need to protect our profit margin. And so there was a conflict that was existing, and without that unified view, nobody knows it.
All right, they absolutely have to work in harmony, no doubt about it. Because at the end of the day, it's all about the value the consumer places upon the experience within your four walls.